what's up, y'all? This is Revolutionary Fitness Radio. I'm your host, Sean Garcia. Thanks for joining us again this week. We've had an amazing September since we relaunched the podcast. So we're like, I think this is going to be episode 7 of season 3. And we've already gotten nearly 1,000 downloads for the month of September. And it's pretty good, you know, considering that we took 9 months of a hiatus. We were able to come back strong, and we've been having some great shows and some great guests on. And we've been doing the live Q&As on Wednesdays, and we've been getting a lot of questions and participation in that. So we're really excited about what's going on with RevFit Radio. So definitely subscribe to RevFit Radio. Make sure that you drop a rating in iTunes so that you can increase our listenership. And the more people will discover us, the more ratings that there are. And so we appreciate that support. So today we have a really, really exciting guest, someone that we've been wanting to introduce to the community for a long time. So we're finally able to do it. So we have our very own Oscar from Sweden. Oscar, we got so much to talk about. People have been asking, what is RevFit Sweden? Who is this guy? Everyone sees your posts on Instagram and on Facebook, and they're like, "Who is this? You guys?" So Oscar, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing great. So Oscar, tell us a little bit about who you are. You know, how you got into health and fitness, and maybe discuss how you discovered Revolutionary Fitness.
Yeah, well, my name is Oscar, and I live in Sweden. And how all started, I believe, when I enjoyed a kickboxing class in martial arts, where I just realized another side of training. I was doing some soccer, I was doing some weightlifting and so, but when I discovered the kickboxing, the martial arts, it just changed everything. And that was the beginning of my health and fitness road.
So you started out as a martial artist, or like just an athlete, soccer, some martial arts? And then you started being introduced.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And so how long have you been participating in health and fitness?
Well, I've always been active since I was a child, but really being like in the zone and being right there with health and fitness topics and questions of it since 2009.
Cool. So wow now. And so how did you come across I mean, I know the story, but maybe you could share with our listeners how you discovered RevFit.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend once, just going my visions of health and fitness, what I'm want to accomplish, and how I see the whole bodyweight training, that we don't need any equipment, we just need our bodies or each other to have a good exercise, to have a good health, and taking the results to another level. And he told me, well, you need to listen to this podcast called Revolutionary Fitness. And that's how I came across to you.
Nice. Yeah. Our podcast, I think we're currently being listened to in like 24 countries. So when we got contacted by you, it's almost 2 years now, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
It was surprising that we had listeners in Sweden.
Yeah. No, I just thought immediately I need to write to these guys. So
Nice, cool. And so, what can you talk a little bit about what your visions are with health and fitness? You kind of said that's why you were attracted to Revolutionary Fitness, but can you go deeper into how you picture health and fitness evolving?
Yeah, well, I've been doing martial arts a long time, and in martial arts you don't have any equipment. You only use your body, the technique, the movements of your own body and of a partner. And what I was thinking, or what I was done was taking that to the whole majority of people. Taking out of just take out of the boxing and the kicking, just doing the fitness exercises we do in martial arts, and sharing it to all the people around, the majority. And I got a really good response from that, and I was just keep going on with it, and I just started to think, this is something I need to evolve and do much bigger of it. And from there, I just came across to a whole other persons who was in the same vision that I have, and just contact them and getting education from all of these people.
Great. And so can you, for those who are U.S. audience especially, which are the primary people that listen to the show, can you talk a little bit about Sweden and why you think something like revolutionary fitness would have some success, or, you know, was needed in Sweden? Why not just start another CrossFit or something like this? Why revolutionary fitness in Sweden?
Yeah, well, I come from a little part of my town. It's not outside, but it's quite outside in the society, how they look at this part of where I been grown and raised, and that image structures the society, and that also results to an stereotype of people that doesn't exist, just put on. And by doing health and fitness, you can live up to the other side, the real side of people. And of course, there's no such thing as health food or so in this part of this town. So it's all fast food, it's falafel, kebab, all that stuff.
Yeah. And so what is the composition of your neighborhood that you think makes your neighborhood isolated? What is the stereotypes made of the neighborhood?
I think it's a lot of gangs that are doing stuff, but I don't think it's like a gang from that part. I think it's a gang from a whole nother part, or from all over the town. But just doing this stuff, it just structure in very bad image.
So there's a little bit of gang violence in the neighborhood, and it projects a poor image of the neighborhood. Is your neighborhood, is it a lower income neighborhood?
Yeah, you can say so.
Yeah. So there's so in the overall, so what major city are you near?
Well, I'm living on the third major city of Sweden, Malmö.
Yeah. Okay. And so within that, though, there's different communities that are partitioned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And the thing about Malmö is it's quite small, so you can see everything around it. It's not far away. So from this neighborhood where I grew up to the city is maybe like 15 or 20 minutes from there. So it's not far at all. So just by riding a bike, you can see everything, all the changes from one neighborhood to another neighborhood.
Awesome. So also too, a lot of our community has been wondering, everyone thinks that everyone in Sweden is pale white guys.
No.
So how'd you get some color?
Yeah, well, it's from my parents. My father is from Bolivia and my mother from Chile.
Oh, okay. Is there a big Latino community, Latin American community out in Sweden?
Yeah, there is not so much here in my town here in Malmö, but on Gothenburg or Stockholm there is a lot.
Okay, cool. See, so we're learning new things already.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you're also, in addition to being a master trainer now with Revolutionary Fitness, you're also a master trainer as of late with the Bulgarian Bag.
Yeah.
Can you speak to our audience about what the Bulgarian Bag is and maybe some of its benefits?
Yeah. Well, you maybe have seen a bag just laying around in all the gyms. Well, here in Sweden, all the gyms have the Bulgarian bag, but you don't know how to use it. Where you can use it like just like a weight plate, doing stuff like that, but you're not using the dynamic movements of the bag. So I took a education by Suples training system, the founders of the Bulgarian bag. And the first swing I took with it, I just felt this is something new. I was doing kettlebells before, but doing this side swing, or the spin as we call it, just involve all of the body in one flow, in one movement. And that's something difficult to imitate with the kettlebell because it's much of back and forward with the kettlebell. It's not so much from back and circle.
And the rotation,
And it's the rotation. And the kettlebell is an iron kettlebell, so it can be in the mind of people. Now I'm gonna hurt myself. With the Bulgarian bag, you can even use it as a pillow. So
it sounds like you've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those who are listening on the podcast and can't see the visual, and you've never seen a Bulgarian bag, because they're not as popular in the US yet. I've seen them primarily in a lot of mixed martial arts gyms or jiu-jitsu gyms. They've kind of been exposed to the Bulgarian bag, I think, a little bit more, but it looks like a little bit of a arch kind of, it's almost like a,
well, if you can
and
imagine,
it has handles on the side. Yeah,
if you can imagine a lamb, and you tie the feet of the lamb, that's the shape of the Bulgarian bag. That's how the creator have imagined.
He was tossing around lambs, and he was like, "Oh, let me make a bag instead of torturing lambs."
Exactly. And Ivan, though the founder, he used this bag, or he created the bag to his wrestling athletes. He was using kettlebells before, but two things: it was too hard for the body when they was snatching and so. And if they just let go the kettlebell, the wrestling mat broke. So he did this soft weight bag to use.
That makes sense. Yeah, because if you're throwing, kettlebells around and you're also working at a facility that has a certain type of flooring, you could do damage with the kettlebell. So it makes sense for a lot of fighters, I guess. And also too, I would think for a lot of fighters who are constantly, wrestlers and jiu-jitsu artists, especially constantly moving their bodies around and having to twist and turn and lock and, try to pin people down, that it probably has a lot of direct application, huh?
Yeah. All the movements with the Bulgarian bag is heritage from the wrestling movements. So there is the arm throw is called one exercise. It's like when you take the arm from your partner and you're gonna throw it around. So it's that movement you use.
So it seems like the movements are very athletic. Is this something that everyday person can use, average person, or is it just made for fighters?
No, it's for everyone. I have introduction classes now, and there are so different people there. There are those who are athletes. There are those who are beginners. There are those who have used the kettlebell and now are going to the Bulgarian bag. All of them can get a good workout, from the athlete to the beginner to everyone. And can get a flow of it and the benefits of it it's like we say, it's very kind to your body when you do like a regular kettlebell swing with the bag. You don't put too much load on your back. You go with the flow, with the movement, with the Bulgarian bag, instead of just stopping it and pushing up with the hips, putting the load on your back with the kettlebell.
So what's some of the, you talked about the shoulder throw, did you call it? The shoulder throw? What's some other
arm throw?
Arm throw. What's some other common movements you could do with the Bulgarian bag?
Well, this signature movement is the spin. Is when you take the bag over and forward, and you go. It's like a dancing class.
Nice.
So there is some small details you can learn, because it's not just going back in circles. There's some small details that in vision you cannot see. So I can explain to you later.
yeah. When you show me in person.
Yeah.
So we have that movement. What's some other common movements that you can do with them? That's unique. What's movements that are unique to the Bulgarian bag that you can't do with other tools?
Yeah, you got the spin, you got the arm throw, but the most unique thing is the whole combination you do. So you can go from the spin to the arm throw, from the arm throw to the side swing and squat. And from there, you can go to a snatch, you can go to a front squat. It's all the combinations you do.
And what's the benefit of doing those combos?
Yeah.
What is the benefit?
Yeah, you do the endurance benefits, you do the strength, the grip strength, the condition, the coordination. You cannot think of anything else but here and now. You need to coordinate all the movements with your whole body, because even if you're just using the upper body, the lower body is the counterbalance of the bag. The whole body is engaged and more muscle groups are engaged.
So engaging a lot of muscle groups equals more calorie burn, higher metabolism, all these good things we always talk about.
Exactly.
And also too, it sounds like it makes a very strong mind-body connection.
Exactly.
And I think too, for the US audience, a benefit that I can just see from your visually from the movements that you're doing is, I mean, it's probably true now in Sweden and most places in the West, where we're very chronically tight in the shoulders and hunched over, and our backs are very stiff. So it seems like the Bulgarian bag is like the counter measure to all the things that we're doing throughout the day. It's opening us up, remobilizing us, and getting us.
That's something that I felt when I was doing this spin, because you need to open up. You cannot be here because the weight is going to take you downwards with the gravity. So you need to use the laws of nature and the gravity to go up with your back and your chest to have this flow and swing moments.
That's awesome. And so if someone was interested in buying a Bulgarian bag, what's like the entry weights? How do you determine what weight to use, what size to use?
Yeah. If you're a child, there is a 5 kg to use. If you're a adult and beginner, there's a 8 kg to use. But I think the 12 kg is the best to use for everyone, adults. The 8 kg is more to get used to the movements. But to get all the benefits of it, I think the 12 kg is the way to go.
So if you have to invest in one, you go for the 12 you think is the most universal.
Yeah.
And then how high do they go? How heavy do they get?
I think the heaviest they have right now is like 38 kg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're loading, on these rotational movements, that can really be very challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like the 12 kg. I mean, for those in the US who don't know the conversion, that's about 25 pounds. And so imagine you're swinging a 25-pound bag around your body and tossing it on your shoulder is very challenging already. So
I've been
38, it's,
using, yeah, the heaviest I've been using is 20 kg. So
because you're all-star.
yeah, and that's heavy.
Nice, cool. All right, awesome. And then also too, you in addition to the Bulgarian bag, you also are you a master trainer with Ruffie Training?
Yeah.
So can you talk about what Ruffie Training is, and also for those who might have seen Ruffie Training online or on YouTube, there's a lot of physical interaction. Yeah. So I want to talk about that too. So maybe just talk about what Ruffie Training is, and then we can go into some of the drills that you do.
Yeah. Well, Ruffie Training is the living proof for yourself and for everyone that you don't need any gym, do not need any equipment. The only thing you need is your body, your partner, and that each of you have heart. That's it. And all the exercise are also heritage from the wrestling. So there is a exercise where you need to cooperate with each other. There is the other one where you need to fight each other, and there's the single strength and conditioning exercise.
So, but it's a fitness kind of So that's kind of what you were talking about earlier. This idea of taking the drills from martial arts training and bringing it into like a health and fitness approach, so that it's for those who maybe are not interested in fighting, or maybe those who are not interested in going to, maybe you only can make one time enough for the gym. You can't do the gym, work, family, and go to martial arts. So maybe you can get both in one time.
Yeah.
So can you describe, what are some of the movements that you're doing? I know it's hard on the radio.
Yeah, it's hard, but I can tell you, the persons get very skeptical about this kind of training. All the majority of people, all the people who are in martial arts are used to it. You get the groins in your head. So we're used to it. But the majority of people, they're not used to it. They see violence when they think of martial arts. And that's not the case of it. It's something different in martial arts. That's why people are doing martial arts. So with Ruffie, we took the essence of it. And how can it look? Well, in the beginning, we take each other's hand. We're doing the counterbalance. So one is doing the squat, the other one is just pulling back. Most like the TRX, when you do the squat with the TRX or this suspension. Yeah, same thing, but with persons. And then you can go to a fight where you're just going from chest to chest and just pushing forward. It's a lot of resistance with each other. No hitting, no kicking, no knees, no elbows. Just resist and pushing with each other.
And so you think most of the apprehension or most of the hesitation from people is this fear of touching someone else and being too intimate with someone else?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Some people say, I can't go there. We get too close to each other. And I don't know why. And all the worlds tells us that we need to get more close to each other. That's how we can live more. That's how we get more harmony in ourselves. And I think it's a structure that society has put onto us. We're all very close, like you and I right now with the internet, and so we're all very close. But we need to get even closer. We need to touch each other. We need to see each other. We need to hear each other.
So what have you seen in classes maybe where you have a few people who are uncomfortable with the activities, and then they start going through the activities? What kind of transformations do you see through the course of your training?
They go from the skeptical step to having the fighting step to ending with the happiness step. So
Oh, yeah.
that's the progress you see on it.
So you think people are, they're a little apprehensive and then they get into it and then they get competitive and a little too aggressive.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting into, you know, having fun and playing and things like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So
That's
how
the
do you
whole
manage people when they start getting a little upset?
Well, that's my work as a coach, to like get to know them as much as I can. I maybe, if they're the first time, introducing them by having my hand to their shoulder. With that step, they're already getting comfortable with the touching, with being close to each other. So those small things you can do.
Mm. And do
The
you,
shoulder
yeah. So like you progressively start getting them comfortable with it.
yeah.
And so it seems to me, you know, that, I mean, I think because as a martial artist, I definitely, you know, am used to interacting with people, touching and making contact. But I can see where, you know, some people might feel uncomfortable initially. Maybe people have gone through some traumatic experience, you know, with physical altercations, or maybe, you know, women are uncomfortable being wrestled by a man. How do you deal with these issues?
Yeah, I think in Ruffie you don't see these issues because in the beginning you maybe take a friend with you, so you're very comfortable with it. Afterward, you can go with anyone because you know how it goes. There's no violence at all. You get all the feeling and all the positive results of it. But speaking to another person without introducing face to face the training system, just talking to them why we should do this more, and also not being so, how you say, not hiding the structure you have in martial arts gyms and so, because there it can be a lot of macho attitude in there,
Right.
so, and that it's not so welcome to women.
That's right. I mean, I think most wrestling programs that are co-ed or jujitsu schools that are co-ed, you see really it being male dominated in most facilities, and then, you know, women feeling like they have to work twice as hard to belong, or you know, to be accepted, or they have to act like one of the guys to belong. So you think that this is less of a problem in the Ruffie training?
Yeah, because what I do every time I post something on Instagram or Facebook or telling people about this is come as you are. You don't need to think about all these stereotypes or structures or nothing. Come as you are. You're welcome exactly as you are. And that's the person I want to have.
And you see this reflected in your classes. Your classes are always very diverse, and you have a good balance of male, female, different nationalities. And so you think is because you're taking a conscious effort to make everyone feel equal and feel like they have a space.
Yeah. I always have the communication with all the people who come to my classes. In afterwards, maybe I text them, or if we see each other, I talk to them. What do you think I should do next time, or and so on. Always having some small communication with the people.
Yeah, and from the videos I've seen, it seems like people by the end of it are having a lot of fun, and people are making friends very quickly. What I find is like when people are just talking to each other, sometimes there can be miscommunications, not the best understanding. Sometimes people have the biases holding them back from really meeting the person that they're talking to, or seeing them, in a certain light. But when you physically connect with someone, and I found this in martial arts a lot, you make friends very quickly. Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah, it sure is like that. This is like a social tool to use outside of this martial arts gym or studio, taking out to the people so we can have these benefits of it socially.
And I know you work with youth as well. Do you do some of this training with the young people?
Yeah, very much. I use a lot of physical activity with the youth.
Do you use the Ruffie Training with them?
Sometimes.
I feel like teenagers might be a little bit more, they'll start laughing and giggling and
yeah, you can have that, but you need to get to know them, not doing the whole training, just part of it. So small steps, baby steps.
Yeah. And with the young people, what do you think is the main thing that you're trying to, what's the main goal in terms of what you're trying to get done with them? Are you trying to get them stronger? What's your main goal?
My main goal is having them to talk about their feelings.
You're a fitness coach.
Yeah. Yeah, but because as youth, maybe you're in a stage where you don't feel like the stereotype of being calling him or her. You don't know where you're going at gender-wise. So this is a step where you can just talk about it and feel as you are.
That's awesome. And so you think, in addition to the talking and expressing identity, do you think that the physical training aids them in learning more about themselves and what they want to do?
Yeah, a lot, because health and fitness is so connected to the real life, if you say so. Especially if you take the Ruffie for example, you have the part when you need to work with each other. You need to have the communication with each other. Then you have the part we need to fight. Most of life is fighting, so you take that part, and then you have the single strength and conditioning exercise. And if you take that to the real life, it's like, okay, now I can go by my own. Then I'm going back. Maybe I'm going back to fighting. Maybe I'm going back to work with another person. So
a lot of lessons to be found through the movement.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and you also too, you work at an obstacle course facility, and these are definitely become more popular in the U.S. with the rise of popularity of American Ninja Warrior and things like this. So can you talk a little bit about the facility that you work in and the work that you do?
Yeah, it's called Toughest Lab, and my role there is having the family classes where kids and parents can work together.
Oh, awesome.
And that's a hard work, because normally you have the kids class and that's it. The parents go, they leave their kids for 40 minutes or an hour, and that's it. But how do you bring them together? And it's kids from 5 years old to 12 years old. So that's my work doing there. And it's hard, it's challenging, but it's a lot of fun doing it.
And what kind of obstacles do you have in that facility?
Oh, we have most of them. We have the flying monkey, or la ache if you're in parkour. You have the salmon ladder. You have the gymnastic rings. You get the big ramp. Yeah.
The warp wall. You have that warp wall. That's the ramp you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you run up and you grab the top.
Exactly. And you have the pegboard. Yeah. You have all the playground stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. And so, in this facility, are people just kind of playing around with the different toys, or is there a program, like a plan that people are on? How do people, do they just utilize it like a playground, or is it used like a gym?
It's both. You have the beginner class where you go the basics of the obstacle course training. And then you have the toughest training, as they call it. It's the more high intensity for strength and conditioning for the OCR obstacles.
And so people are, is the obstacle course competitions big out in Sweden?
Yeah. It's
So people also
popular.
training for competitions?
Yeah, so there is the elite group and there is the common group.
So elite are the people training for an obstacle, and the common are just everyday people?
Everyday people, and those who are doing the elite group, they are just doing it to qualify to the World Championship in OCR. I think it's held in Canada this year.
Awesome, great. Are you going to be competing or no?
No, I don't compete on the elite. I just do it for having fun.
Yeah.
Because toughest, they're unique in this way that they have the normal lane and they have the fast lane. And the fast lane is the more difficult obstacle you can do. So every time I do this competition, I'm just thinking about I'm going to do so much fast lanes as I can.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it looks like fun. I mean, I see the pictures of the facility and it looks like a lot of fun. And, you know, in New York City, we have the issue that the rent is very expensive and we can't get big facilities and the ceilings aren't high enough.
Yeah.
In Sweden, you guys have a lot of space.
But it's expensive also.
Yeah, I'm sure. So can you talk to folks about, you know, the different services that you're offering? You know, if you're doing group classes, where are they located? If you're doing one-on-one training, like what kind of stuff are you offering now, especially for those who are in Sweden who are listening to the radio show who might want to connect with you and work with you?
Yeah, well, all my personal training is in this toughest lab, the OCR gym. In there, we can use some body weight movements, or we can use the obstacle course if you like to do that. I use everything I can in that facility. I use the Bulgarian bag also to my clients to improve their movement, their dynamic body movements. The Ruffie classes, I always have them outdoor.
And why is that?
That is to prove to everyone that you don't need a gym. That you don't need any equipment, you don't need anything. You just show up and you can have a great fun. And it's called Ruffie because it needs to be rough.
Yeah. So you need a lot of space, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do the Ruffie classes outdoors, all right?
Outdoor, yeah. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And where outdoors are you doing it?
On Mondays, it's called Konsthallen. It's an art gallery nearby. On Wednesdays, it's Rörsjöparken. It's a normal park with the outdoor gym just right beside that. And on Fridays, it's called Tornets Uteum. It's the most popular outdoor gym here in Malmö.
Oh, very cool. And so what kind of sizes are your classes generally, the ones that are outdoors?
It can depend on the weather. So it can be from 6 and then it could be like 12 or 15.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so people were like, who are all these people in Sweden taking pictures with RevFit? And we're like, oh yeah, Oscar's doing his thing out there.
Yeah, small steps.
Yeah, it's great. And so, so in terms of your development of revolutionary fitness in Sweden, me and you have been working closely for the past year or two, trying to get you set up and trying to get you integrated into the work. And you've participated in some of our educational workshops via Skype. So it's been great to have you as part of the team. But in 2017, we're really going to try to be a little bit more aggressive with the development of your affiliation and you know, maybe working on getting your own space in 2017. We'll see, but we're definitely going to try to, I think we're trying to go for the spring. We're going to see if we can host a certification out in Sweden. So for those who are interested in becoming a RevFit trainer and working with Oscar and helping expand revolutionary fitness into Sweden and throughout Europe, really. Definitely be on the lookout for announcements about that potential certification. How are you feeling about that?
Excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, and hopefully too, we'll get you. I think we're trying to see if we could get you out here for the late spring, shortly thereafter to do a Bulgarian bag certification here in the U.S. in New York City. So we'll be putting out the date for that too as it approaches, as we get more details ironed out. We're going to try to get Oscar to fly out to New York City and help us on that front. A lot of people are excited about that.
Me too.
So if people want to get in contact with you, what's the best ways that they can reach out to you?
Instagram, Facebook, that's the best way. I'm starting to build a website also. I think it's going to be launched in mid-October. So it's going to be RevFitSweden.com.
Awesome. And then if people are trying to find you on Instagram, what's the handle? What's your name on Instagram?
At RevFitSweden.Oscar. And
on Facebook, is it the same?
It's Revolutionary Fitness Sweden.
Awesome. And we'll put those links in the show notes so that everybody can, if you're in Sweden, you can get in contact. If you're not in Sweden, you can look at all the great work that Oscar is doing out there. So Oscar, we appreciate you getting on here. We know it's late where you're at. It's earlier here, but it's nighttime where you are. So I know you're a little exhausted.
No problem.
And this weekend too, you're going to be heading to something else, right? Aren't you going?
Yeah, tomorrow, very, very early in the morning, I will take the train to Stockholm, and I'm going to be an educator in this Ruffie to certify other people in Ruffie. So I'm going to be the educator on it also.
Awesome. So maybe we'll have some Ruffie training in the U.S. as well when you get out here. All right, great. So we got a lot of stuff lined up. Cool, man. So as always, it's great talking to you. I appreciate you coming on the show, and we're going to try to get you on a couple of the Q&A shows too going forward. So you and John, our co-host, can tackle some questions.
Yeah.
That'll be great. So we'll have people get in contact with you in the show notes. Have all the links to get in contact with you, and we'll talk soon.
I have a YouTube channel also.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
what's the YouTube channel?
Revolutionary Fitness Sweden. So
easy. We'll put it in the show notes as well. You got some good videos on there.
Yeah.
Cool, Oscar. All right. So we appreciate it, man. Get some sleep.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and we look forward to getting you here in the spring, and I'm excited to go out to Sweden and in the spring as well. Awesome.
Me too.
We'll talk soon.
New York.
Yeah. All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, man.
Bye.